On today's webinar, we're going to be talking mainly about how to get EU citizenship and residency. Well, first of all, residency, which can lead to citizenship, and basically how people can kill two birds with one stone and make an investment which also can give you that access to the EU market. So today we're joined by Grant from IP Global and Tirso, a Portuguese lawyer. So to begin with, I'm going to hand over to Grant Reynolds from IP Global, who's going to explain a bit more about IP Global and how it all fits in with the EU passports and residency scheme.
Thank you, Adam. Thanks for that introduction, and thanks for allowing me to join your webinar today. And it's a pleasure to be here today with Tirso Olazabal, who's actually in Portugal at the moment. So Tirso, it's great to have you on the webinar again. We've obviously worked on a number together. I'll formally introduce Tirso in a couple of minutes, from MdME Lawyers, who's been specialising in the golden visa opportunity for quite a number of years, based like I am, but currently in Lisbon. So before I sort of formally introduce Tirso, I just want to share a little bit of background to IP Global, which is a business that I have been with since 2006. So IP Global are based here in Hong Kong. We are a property investment company. We do everything in terms of real estate investment, in process of buying individual residential property. We have transacted on not far short of 6,000 individual properties over the time I've been in the business. We've helped clients effectively invest in $3 billion USD of property across 18 different markets, and those markets this year include UK, Germany, and of course Portugal, which we're going to talk about today. So just to highlight, our main market has been in the UK. We've invested £1.7 billion across 112 projects since 2009. Germany is another big market for us, over 100 million euros. Australia and the USA as well, and most recently Portugal, where we've done 20 million US dollars effectively of investment, and obviously that's going to be the main focus today. So yeah, the main sort of thrust of today's presentation is going to be on the golden visa, and I've been working with Tirso Olazabal from MdME Lawyers for quite some time now, and Tirso's been helping clients in the golden visa space. So Tirso is part of MdME Lawyers, the only law firm in Hong Kong that provides one-stop service, full assistance in the Portuguese golden visa application process. Hong Kong, Lisbon, and Macau are their main offices. Tirso is typically based in Hong Kong, but as I say, currently has been working out of the Lisbon office for quite a number of months this year. He's the MdME's golden visa desk, where he manages an experienced team that's been working in the golden visa space since 2012. So Tirso has been helping clients invest or understand the process and process applications in the golden visa space for over 10 years now, and he's extremely experienced in the golden visa piece of work. So at this point, it'll be good to sort of formally hand over to Tirso. And what Tirso is going to do today is really give a valuable insight into the options for golden visa, how the process works, and really give our listeners today a very clear understanding of that process. And then obviously after the webinar, he will be able to take some questions, and then if there are those who would like a one-to-one separately, of course he can provide that and provide you know, the one-to-one assistance to take the golden visa process forward. So at this point, let me hand over to Tirso, who can then you know, give a good overview of the golden visa process. So Tirso, if I can hand over to you at this stage.
Okay, 1 second.
You're currently muted, so we'll take you off mute. Yeah. Adam,
okay,
if you could
perfect.
you just take Tirso off mute. Okay, we can hear you now, Tirso. Welcome.
Sorry,
Very nice
sorry.
to see you.
And you were briefly introducing myself, and I couldn't say anything. But thank you very much for your introduction, Grant. It's a great pleasure to be here today, and thank you also for the audience for taking your time to listen to our presentation. So I'm going to give you a basic overview on the golden visa, which is a visa on investment. I understand that most of you probably have done some homework already, so I'm not going to do any exhaustive introduction on the golden visa, but I will be here to take your questions if you have so, or any specific questions that you might have. So just as a brief introduction, the golden visa is a visa on investment. So once you do a specific and eligible investment, you will be granted a visa that will entitle you to work and live in Portugal on a freely visa basis, and also to travel within the Schengen area that covers 27 EU countries without the need of any visa. Your stay, and during your stay, and if you want to live in Portugal, you will have access to the healthcare system, the Portuguese healthcare system, education as well. You will have some tax benefits, which are the non-habitual tax regime that will give you a flat tax rate of 20% within a period of 10 years. You will be able to do family reunification, which is also very important for those who have family. You only need to do one single investment, so the main investor will do the investment, and all the family members will be reunified in the same application. Another thing that is quite attractive on the Portuguese visa when compared to other similar programs from other countries is the minimum period of stay in Portugal. You are only required to stay a minimum period of stay of 7 days average per year, which is very minimal, well, when compared to other programs, and gives the investor more flexibility in case they don't want to move to Portugal and they want to stay where they are and just have the visa. I think that we can go to the next slide, please. In terms of investment, as I just referred, this is a visa on investment, so it implies an investment. The typical investments, let's say, and I will focus only on those who are more, which are more often used by the investors, which is property. You can make an investment on property, and the minimum amount of investment depends on whether the property, on the location of the property, and if you need to do rehabilitation works or not in the property. So the first threshold is a 280,000 euros investment in property, that you will need to buy the property and do some rehabilitation works. So the price of the property plus the rehabilitation works, they need to be at least 280,000. So if you buy a property of 200,000 euros, you will need to do rehabilitation works at 80,000 euros. The property needs to be more than 30 years old or be located in an urban rehabilitation area. You need to renovate the property. And this property, because it's the let's say the cheaper investment, needs to be located in a low density area in terms of population. The second type of investment in property is at 350,000 euros. So it follows the same logic as the 280,000, but this property is not required to be in a low density area. It just needs to be more than 30 years old, and you need to do these renovation works. The next one is the 500,000 investment in property. So this one does not require any rehabilitation works at all, or any other types of requirements in terms of age of the property whatsoever. So you just need to do the 500,000 investment only. In terms of where can you buy these properties? For residential property, it is important to refer that you cannot buy residential property in the main cities of Portugal, Lisbon and Porto. You can only buy commercial and service properties. For residential properties, you can buy in any other cities of Portugal except Lisbon and Porto. So this is a general overview on the property investment. The second type of investment that is often used by the investors is the capital transfer. So you can invest in a private equity fund that is registered in Portugal, and that invests 60% of its funds in Portugal. The minimum amount of investment is 500,000 euros. There are I can say that this investment has been used more and more by the investors. At the beginning, we would only see property investment, but now the private equity fund is something that is used very often by the investors, because it can be a little bit more simple in terms of it doesn't involve taxes that you will have to pay when you buy properties. You don't have in the private equity fund. You don't need to maintain properties, the maintenance cost, and so on. So it's a valid option, and it's often used by the investors. Another one, this one is more rare, let's say, it's to transfer and put money into a bank account. That will be, of course, in the name of the investor, and the investment is 1.5 million euros. I think we can go to the next slide, please. Just a brief overview on the practical aspects of the process. Okay, we've seen the investment, and now this is a little bit the paperwork that you need to do. So you will need to apply for a Portuguese tax number, and if you are not a resident in Portugal, you'll need to appoint a tax representative for that purpose. This is needed for the purposes of opening a bank account. You'll need to open a bank account, and this is mandatory in Portugal, so that you transfer the money of your investment into that bank account before you send that money to the seller, okay? Once the bank account is open and the money is transferred, and you have, chosen your investment, you just need to complete the investment. And once the investment is done, and this is important, you will need to do the investment first before submitting your application. This is a question that we receive very often. You will need to do the investment before we submit the application. With that done, we just need to have some personal documents, which are the criminal record and some other documents. If, for example, you are doing family reunification, birth certificates, marriage certificates, and so on. Once we have everything in order, we will do the submission of the application. After the online submission is done, the acceptance of that submission normally takes 4 months. And with that acceptance, you can book your biometrics meeting with the immigration in Portugal. This is the only time that you really need to come to Portugal. It's when you need to visit the immigration authorities in Portugal in order to do your fingerprints so that your visa can be issued. Of course, at this moment, we will have some lawyers from our Lisbon office to go with you to this meeting with immigration. Once the meeting is done, I would say that another 2 to 3 months for the visa to be issued. And once the visa is issued, we will collect it and we will bring it to you. So you just really need to come to that day, to the immigration meeting. 1 day only is sufficient. You can go back to your country and the visa is then issued and we will bring it over to you. You don't really need to stay in Portugal to wait for the issuance of the visa, and 1 day is sufficient for the meeting with the immigration authorities. I think we can go to the next slide. This is just a timeline overview on the golden visa. So the golden visa is renewed every 2 years. So on the 2nd year and on the 4th year. For the renewal of the visa, you just really need to make evidence that you have maintained your investment, and we will need to show also a fresh criminal record, just to make sure that everything is in order. That is the only thing that we will need for the renewals. On the 5th year, okay, of holding your golden visa, you are entitled to apply for permanent residency or citizenship. In these 2 cases, you will need to show that you have, basic knowledge of Portuguese language. So you will have to pass a basic Portuguese test, okay, so that you can apply for citizenship. If you don't want to apply for citizenship or permanent residency, you can simply renew your golden visa. As I just said, every 2 years it will need to be renewed, but you can keep and continue the golden visa. You are not obliged to apply for citizenship, but if you want to do so on the 5th year, you are entitled to start your citizenship application. And I would say that the Portuguese language test is the most important step of this application, as you will need to show certain connection to Portugal. I think that's it from my side.
Thank you, Tirso. I mean, that's been a very sort of concise overview of the process. I'm sure there'll be 1 or 2 questions that we will get linked to that process, towards the end of the presentation. But that really give a very good, insightful overview of the process and what is required, and also the investment options. So I'm just going to now just share a little bit more context in terms of one of the investment opportunities, and that will be on the property side, where there is options to invest from 280,000 euros. I'm not going to spend too much detail on that, but I just wanted to give a little bit of insight into one of the opportunities. And as Tirso mentioned, you can actually get access with to work, travel, live across the 27 EU members, and then plus also 4 countries which are not EU members as well, which is Iceland, Norway, Switzerland, and Liechtenstein. And the picture there just gives you the picture for the whole of the European Union. And as I say, those 4 additional countries that we've mentioned there, highlighted where you can get visa-free access. So let me just go on to one particular example for investing. So we have an opportunity in the Algarve. The Algarve is popular with people from the UK and also people from different parts of Europe. In terms of what we see for those who have a visa, with lots of people from the UK post-Brexit keen to get access to the European Union. We see a lot of people from the US, a lot of people from India, amongst many other countries. And, Portugal is very, very popular indeed, given the fact it's such a tolerant society, very friendly people, English is widely spoken, great climate. We could go on and on with the reasons why Portugal is is popular. I'm going to sort of share on one particular example we have here in SAGRES, which is in the Algarve. And interestingly, the Algarve is the second highest region for GDP behind Lisbon. Lots of people think it's actually Porto, but it is actually in the Algarve. Obviously, it's very strong on agriculture, on tourism, and in the sort of new world we live in, post-COVID, what we deem as digital nomads. Lots of people who can actually spend quite a number of months or have actually moved lock, stock and barrel to this part of the world where they can sort of freely work. So lots of investment that's come in, typically from the UK, Germany, Netherlands, France, Spain, and the USA. But this is one of those particular locations which is deemed as a low density area, an area where, as I say, it is eligible this year for golden visa, so for investment via residential property in this particular location. So since COVID, what we've seen is a high percentage, a larger percentage of local people moving into this type of region. There's lots of pent-up demand from Germans, French, Dutch, who are looking to buy property in this area for second homes, ideally by the beachside. And the Algarve remains affordable and appealing to EU second homers. It's always been popular, and then there are pockets of value that we see, and we're going to focus on SAGRES, which we see as a pocket of value. And as I mentioned there, we see an awful lot of clients from the UK who are frustrated, annoyed post-Brexit that their sort of opportunity to live and work in the European Union has been removed, and they're very, very keen to try to pursue the passport opportunity that presents here, and I certainly know that, given I've been helping a lot of clients with Tirso on the legal side, of course, Tirso on the legal side, myself on the investment side, allowing clients to invest into Portugal for the EU passport opportunity. So this is one particular opportunity that we have. And if I just go on to the next slide, I'm just going to share some summary details. So it's a freehold title project, investment from 280,000 euros, as I mentioned, 350,000 euros. So I think the most important thing here is, we're working with a trusted partner on the IP Global side that we work with on various projects. Once you've made your investment, you can get some return in terms of a fixed rate rent of 3%. There is also options to actually block off weeks for yourself during the year. It's eligible for Airbnb as well, and it's a very high quality project with lots of facilities, gym, rooftop terrace, a lagoon pool, and it's 240 meters from the beach as well, and we'll be completing in 2 years' time. As I say, the key thing with any of the options that you ultimately decide to go for, be it if it's a fund structure, property, or the bank 0.5 million, as I say, it's all cash in. It has to be cash that goes into Portugal, and has to go into a Portuguese bank account in the first instance. So let me just move on to some pictures here, just to some high level stuff. So this is the project. As I say, it's an existing building that will be renovated into a high quality set of apartments, literally just 240 meters from the beach, in an area where there is surrounding hotels and amenities and golf courses within a short radius, and it's an hour from Faro Airport, so easily connectable to get in and out of Portugal from across the European Union. So I just wanted to touch on that briefly. As I say, there are a number of different options. which will work for different investors across, as I say, be it property, be it fund opportunity, be it through bank account, and obviously we can assist on those options, and obviously Tirso on the legal side once the investment is made to help the client all the way through the investment journey with his considerable experience in Golden Visa. But just before we come on to questions, and I know there's a number in, I just wanted to briefly share on the two other markets we're investing in this year. One of them is Germany, where we've, as I say, we've done 150 million euros of investment this year. Of course, you know, if we're looking at Portugal, if we're looking at Germany, you know, the euro is weak right now, so it's a great time to get into a Golden Visa investment in Portugal, or indeed somewhere like Germany. And, you know, Germany is a strong and solid market. There are some tax advantages there. What we've seen this year in Germany is lots of German real estate being bought up by pension funds, family offices, basically institutional level investment, taking a very positive long-term view of the German property market, given that it's structurally undersupplied, given that Germany has a very open door policy and lots of inward migration. So this is just our current work in Leipzig in Germany, the fastest growing city in Germany by population. And this is a green sustainable building that we've recently just launched on the east side of the city with some summary details there. And we certainly find Germany is very popular with our investors. Indeed, we have around about 30% of clients who, once they've invested once in Germany, they like the process from beginning to end. Good legal structure, tax, mortgaging opportunity, and good potential for capital appreciation. And then just briefly, the other market, the other main market, or the biggest market, as I mentioned at the outset, is the UK. We've done 1.5 billion pounds of investment over the years in the UK. Predominantly, we are focusing in the regional UK. This slide emphasises where our projects are across the UK: Birmingham, Sheffield, Hull, Manchester, and London. You know, certainly with headwinds in the world, we see a weaker pound, which presents an investor opportunity. COVID has meant that less projects have been signed off for planning permission, and with the UK fully opened up like Portugal with no restrictions, there's a lot of pent-up demand. There's a lot of first-time buyers entering the market, first-time renters, but there isn't much stock. And the UK, again, is a structurally undersupplied market. So very strong supply v demand imbalance, which is very positive for the investor. We manage 5,000 properties in the UK for rental, and we only have 20 vacant at the moment. So the market is strong. You know, yes, we're seeing interest rates going up, starting from a very low base. So from that perspective, affordability still remains very, very good. So that's just a brief summary of our other markets. I think it would be good at this point to go to questions, obviously on the main part of our presentation, which is about the Golden Visa. Adam, can I just ask if you've got some questions there? Otherwise, I can see a few questions coming through on this side. So I don't make any comments at this point.
Yeah, I mean, one question we get asked quite a lot is, depending on where the applicant is coming from, is there any kind of extra requirements? So say if somebody is coming from a country where, for example, it's deemed as high risk for money laundering by financial institutions or something like that, or the Portuguese government, is it more strict? Like we see at the moment, obviously for Russia, it's getting harder, right, to apply for the EU, for example. But for other nationalities, would you say that in the real world, is there any kind of difficulty for people depending on where they're coming from?
No. So if that citizen is allowed to apply for a golden visa, the same documentation and requirements will apply to him as to any other applicants. We've seen that the Portuguese immigration have temporarily restricted the applications to people from Iran and Russia. But other than this, all the nationalities and regardless of where you are coming from, the documentation will be the same and no further documents will be required.
Very clear, yeah, thank you.
No problem. Yeah.
Okay, and I think you said you have some questions yourself, Grant.
Yeah, I've got some questions that are coming through here, Adam, that I can see. So, yeah, maybe one for Tirso. So, Tirso, do you think the golden visa scheme in Portugal, is there any signs of it being stopped at all? Do you see any with the golden visa scheme in Portugal?
No. So at the moment, there were some rumors that came from the EU at another level, not at an internal political level, that the golden visa could be stopped, but that will probably take some time. And from the government and the Portuguese government itself, we do not foresee that they will stop this program for the time being, as it is very important for the country as investment and foreign investment that is done in Portugal. So we do not foresee that the golden visa is being stopped now. We've done new applications and submitted this week and even in the previous weeks, and we've been receiving biometrics appointments from the immigration for most of the clients that have submitted their applications last year and early this year. So everything is moving, is normal, and there is no I would see no issues with that. Okay. I see there's another question here. Hi, I'm British, but my dependents are Chinese. Would I be able to get them in? I assume that, in other words, I suppose they're saying, you know, if they apply as British, can they then connect the other family members as well? Yes, Dave. So as long as the dependents are considered dependents for the golden visa purpose, so wife, children, it doesn't restrict you or prevent you to do a family reunification just because they are from another nationality, and we've done it before. So I think clients were not Chinese but were from another nationality, and their dependents were from China, so it's possible and there's no problem with that.
Yeah, okay, great. That's good to know for this particular inquiry. Can I? Yes. I mean, as I say, for fund investment, it has to be 500,000 euros as a cash amount. To say the minimum property investment is 280,000 euros, and of course, there's 1.5 million euros into a bank account in Portugal. So there are a number of options there. Obviously, we can discuss those in more detail on one-to-ones, and obviously Tirso can facilitate the process for each of those investments. Does it make sense to invest now with a weak euro? I mean, yeah, as I say, the most important driver is if the applicant is keen to move forward with golden visa and they have the capital. I suppose if you're asking the timing, you know, timing is good right now because the euro is off to a basket of currencies. It's off against the Singapore dollar, the Hong Kong dollar, the US dollar. I think off the US dollar, it's about sort of 10 to 12% weaker this year. So it's as a byproduct, yes, the timing is good if you hold any of the core sort of major currencies. So yeah, we've got other questions here. Let's see. Okay, can I invest in Tirso at this time? Tirso, do you want to answer that one?
Sorry, Grant, I couldn't hear you.
Sorry,
the first part of the question. Can I invest where?
Let me repeat that. The question is, can I invest in Lisbon or Porto for Golden Visa?
Yes, so as we previously briefly mentioned, you are still allowed to invest in Porto and Lisbon. You just need to make sure that the investment is not done in or is not a residential property. That is the only thing that you cannot do as an investment in Lisbon and Porto. All the other types of properties you are still allowed to invest in.
Yeah. Okay, great. Is the language test difficult? One question here. When I look to get my passport.
Well, I'm not going to answer this question as a Portuguese. Otherwise, the answer would be yes. But putting myself in the position of the investors, it's really a very standard and minimal language tests. So it requires, of course, some effort, some basic effort from the investor, but it's not seen as a difficult test or exam, but as an elementary one.
Yeah. Okay. Another question here. So I know we kind of covered this, but it's good to go over it again. An investor says, if I make the investment today, I make the investment in a fund or a property or the bank account, when would I expect, if I then file my application with the lawyer, when would I expect to get the Golden Visa if we started that process?
Well, once the application is filed, I would say that you can expect around 6 to 8 months to have. It's an estimate. It can be less, it can be more, okay, but it's around that.
Yeah. Okay. And at that point, you can live and work in Portugal, basically.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay. Can I get more for the Golden Visa? No, it has to be a cash purchase. So that's important to mention. It has to be 100% as a cash investment.
Correct.
So yes, that's it. We've got another person here actually asking about the fees and costs, Tirso, for investing and associate costs. Maybe that would be one to do on a one-to-one basis. So I don't know if you want comments on costs and so on. Or?
Sure, I think that we can do that on a one-on-one meeting, because it depends also on the structure of the application, whether there is family members involved or not, the type of investment. So that may vary, and we will need to assess that on a case-by-case basis. So probably it would be better to do it on a one-on-one meeting or by email.
Yeah. And another question here: How would the Golden Visa compare to if I was looking to get residency rights, for example, in Spain, neighboring Spain?
Well, I have to say that I'm not authorized to practice Spanish law, so I haven't studied that law in detail. I know that the minimum period of stay of the Portuguese Golden Visa, it's unique. So the average minimum of 7 days average per year, it's something that gives the investor a lot of flexibility to maintain their visa. Whereas in Spain, the visa for the Spanish visa, it's more strict in that sense.
Yeah. Okay.
And also the minimum amounts of investment as well, they are higher in Spain.
Right. Okay. Okay. And another question here: Do I get access to the health service in Portugal when I get the golden visa, or just when I get the passport through?
No, when you get the golden visa, you have access to the healthcare system and the education system as well. So for the golden visa.
Okay. So there's no difference on the.
No difference at all.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Well, there are other questions. I'm just sort of conscious of the timing here.
Okay.
Adam, did you want to add any other comments at this stage, or?
No, I mean, I had a question about mortgages, but you covered that. I was just looking here to see if there are any more comments. So yeah, if anyone else has any more kind of questions, just type them in the Zoom box below. But I think the main ones we get here, the mortgage, which you covered, right? The property at the moment can't be done for a mortgage. And also, I think the one that was asked about, you know, if it's going to go away, that's asked a bit now, but it seems like not at the moment. So yeah, no more questions on my side, but yeah, I mean, it's been really interesting, Tirso, to have your expertise, and any client who wants your expertise, obviously on a one-on-one basis, is much more useful from the point of view that every situation is slightly different, right? What people require. So we also have to bear that in mind. But no, it's a very, very useful session.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah. Yeah, as I say, the questions sort of keep coming in. We can do, Tirso, if we can forward those particular questions on to you, make obviously introductories to you if you are, you know, for those who want to sort of follow up on a one-to-one.